Hello, Paula Daniele from Crochet Hooks You here, and today I'll be showing you how to crochet the US basic single crochet stitch. I'll firstly explain to you what you would use this stitch for, then I'll do a demonstration of how to do the stitch, and I'll also be explaining how to make a scarf with the demonstration if you wanted to make one with this tutorial. I'll also show you how to finish off and sew in your yarn ends. So with this stitch, it's the shortest of the basic crochet stitches, and in crochet patterns it's abbreviated as SC. And this is a sample square of the single crochet stitch, and it is generally used when you're making things that require a tight stitch to hold things in. So for example, if you are making a stuffed toy, by using this stitch it keeps the stuffing from falling out. And if you used this stitch as a pocket, because it creates a tight fabric, then nothing can fall out of the pocket. And with a pencil case, it's another project where you would use the single crochet stitch so your stationery wouldn't fall through the gaps. Another use this stitch has is when you need ultimate warmth. Because it's a tight stitch, there's little chance of too much airflow, so you can use it for berets, beanies, scarves or cardigans, and anything that you want to make for the most warmth. So for demonstration purposes today, I'll be using a Bernat Super Value yarn. And this is a medium worsted weight yarn, category 4. And this colour is Farmhouse Red. With this yarn, I'll be using a 5mm crochet hook, and this hook is also known as a H8 hook in the US. So we always start off with a slip knot. So I'll show you how to make a slip knot. So leaving enough of a yarn end there because you'll be sewing that in later. You wrap the yarn around your finger, pull it off, and then push this end through and pull. And there's a slip knot. You pop your hook through the slip knot and pull down. Then we need to create a foundation chain, and you can chain on any amount of chain stitches you like. Now I'll be chaining on 15 chain stitches today to demonstrate the single crochet stitch. 1 chain stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's called a foundation chain. So a foundation chain is made up of chain stitches. So for row 1, we'll be doing 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. There's your first chain stitch. This is the second chain stitch. So into the second chain stitch, yarn over hook, pull through, yarn over hook, pull through all 3 loops, and there's a single crochet stitch. Then you move into the next chain. Yarn over hook, pull through, yarn over hook, pull through. Into the next chain stitch, yarn over hook, pull through, yarn over hook, pull through. And that's all you'll be doing into each chain stitch along. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and pull through. Insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Into the next chain stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull through. Same into the next chain stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Insert the hook, pull the yarn through, yarn over the hook, pull through 2 loops. Now we're up to our last one here, and you know it's your last one because there's the slip knot there. That's what it looks like at the end of row 1. Now we turn our work and for row 2 we chain 1, and that does not count as a stitch. Its only purpose is to bring the yarn up to the height which is the same height as a single crochet stitch. So your first single crochet stitch will go into here, this gap here, which is underneath the chain 1 that we just made. So go into that gap under both loops, the V there, and make a single crochet stitch. and then you'll do the same thing into each stitch along, putting your hook up under both loops of that stitch. Pull the yarn through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. Move into the next one, and you can see where the next one is because there's a hole there. See that white hole there? That's where your hook goes. So just repeating the same stitch into each stitch along. So you find your little gap, pop the hook through, making sure there's 2 loops on the top there. Pull the yarn through, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Into the next one, doing the same. Now you know when it's your last stitch because there's one V here and you'll see a little curly bit here. You just leave that alone. You don't need to do anything with that. You're just going to make your last stitch into this V here. And that's the end of row 2. Then you would turn your work, and for all following rows you'll repeat row 2. So if you've chained on the same amount of chain stitches as I have, which was 15, then if you continue on with repeating row 2, which is chain 1, make your first single crochet stitch in there, and then a single crochet stitch into each stitch along right to the end, making your last one into here. So if you do that and keep repeating row 2 until you have the length that you want for a scarf, then once you've got that desired length, and you would test by wrapping it around your neck and seeing if it fits right, then once you've come to your last row and you're happy with the length, then to finish off, so let's say I've done all my rows and now I'm ready to finish off. So to finish off your work, you would cut your yarn and this is how you finish off. So assuming that's a very long scarf, and then you would need to sew in this yarn end where we started off with, and you need a yarn needle that has a large eye that's going to fit this yarn through. So you thread it through and then you simply sew down through the back of the stitches like this, because you're just hiding this yarn end, and you can go as far as you like. And you pull that through and then just give it a little pull like that and then trim that off. And then you do exactly the same for this end. So using your yarn needle and just weaving it, sewing it in through the back of the stitches there. And then your work is going to look like that. So that's how you crochet the US single crochet stitch.